Okay, welcome to today's class. Today's class is actually a continuation of absolute value inequalities part 2. So this is absolute value inequality part 3, which is a continuation of part 2. So I would advise, if you have not gone through absolute values inequalities part 1, part 2, try and go through part 1 and part 2 before coming over to part 3 so that you understand it better. So in absolute value inequalities part 1, I solved one example, and in part 2, I solved two examples. So in part 3, we are looking at three examples here. The first one is solve 3 times the absolute value of 7x minus 4 plus 5 is greater than 17. Now, what you do at this point is try and see how you can express the absolute value sign to stand alone. Make the absolute value sign to stand alone, and the only way you can do that at this point is by moving 5 over to this other side. So this will give us 3 times the absolute value of 7x minus 4. When 5 crosses over to this side, it will become negative, so we have 17 minus 5. And this will be 3 times the absolute value of 7x minus 4 is greater than 17 minus 5 is 12. As you can see, the absolute value sign is not still staying alone. So the only way you can make this absolute value sign to stand alone is by dividing both sides by 3. So if we divide both sides by 3, we'll have 3 times the absolute value of 7x minus 4 divided by 3 is greater than 12 divided by 3. And so this 3 will cancel this 3. 3 cancels itself, 1 cancels 12, 4. So we are having the absolute value of 7x minus 4 is greater than 4. Under absolute value inequalities part 1, I made a statement that if it involves greater than, we use the word or. If it involves less than, we use the word and. So since we are having less than sign, it means that this expression will become 7x minus 4 is greater than 4, or 7x minus 4. The sign will change to less than, and the sign here will also change to minus 4. We did that in absolute value inequalities part 1. And so when negative 4 crosses over to the other side, you have 7x is greater than 4 plus 4, or 7x is less than minus 4. When minus 4 crosses to the other side, it becomes positive 4. And so 7x is greater than 4 plus 4 is 8, or 7x is less than minus 4 plus 4 is 0. So if we divide both sides by 7, we have 7x over 7 is greater than 8 over 7, or 7x is less than 0. So this will cancel this, and we are having x is greater than 8 over 7, or 0, or x is less than 0. So that's the answer to that. As you can see, it is not possible for a number to be greater than 8 over 7 and at the same time less than 0. If it is possible, the word and will be used. So if you don't know if you should use the word OR or you should use the word AND, what you do is solve it. When you arrive at the final answer, compare the two answers. Is it possible for a number to be greater than 8 over 7 and at the same time less than 0? It is not possible. So when it is not possible, you use the word OR. If it is possible, you use the word and. If it is possible, you use the word and. So that is actually the answer to that particular question. So quickly, we are going to look at question number 4. Oh, sorry. Quickly, let's look at question number 5. We are through with this one. Let's look at question number 5. In question number 5, we are having the absolute value of 4x minus 3 is greater than minus 4. is greater than minus 4. This one, a may looking at it, the solution is all real values of x. All real values of x. Why is this so? For any value of x that you put here, the statement will be true. For any value of x that you put here, the statement will be true. So the solution to this is all real values of x. In fact, the answer is from negative infinity to positive infinity. All real values of x. That's the answer. All real values of x. But assuming you don't know that that is the answer, you can still solve it. You can still solve it assuming you don't know that that's the answer. Like I said, for any value of x that you put here, the solution will be greater than minus 4. Remember, expressions with absolute value sign is always greater than or equal to 0. You cannot have a value, absolute value sign giving you a number that is less than 0. So since negative 4 is less than 0, that means whatever value of x you put here, the answer must be greater than 0, meaning it must be greater than negative 4. But let's solve it. Assuming we didn't know and we want to solve, this is what you have. The absolute value of 4x minus 3 is greater than minus 4. So if we want to solve that, this will be 4x minus 3 is greater than minus 4. Remember I said when the word greater, when the sign greater than is used, you use the word or. So or 4x minus 3, you change this sign and you also change the sign for this, so it becomes positive 4. So this will give us 4x. When negative 3 moves over to this other side, you have greater than minus 4 plus 3. Or